I haven't been to Ghana, but I would like to visit one day. I would say that there's a lot of ambiguousness with Africa. Some at school when I was young, I hope Black Panther and a lot of other things, elder generations can stop it, but Africa was seen as an insult, like jungles or just ignorant stuff like that, and even dark skin. For example, the light skin, dark skin social thing, sometimes it's a joke, but sometimes it becomes so deep that it's not a joke. And there's Africans versus African Americans. It's like some people try to put a wedge between, and I see a lot of blacks just really want to be independent of Africa. They want to be something like totally different, like
right.
Oh, that's them, and how does that, what is the black identity, and is it harmful, or how harmful is it? And there's some people who are, so pretty much.
We're glad that you're here. Sometimes people come to the library and they're not necessarily expecting to find us. And good energy. Thank you for being here. At any point, you can share anything about your profession, your business, your family, or whatever, okay? When you're at home. Let's ignite. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Greetings.
Thank you. And you just said that sometimes people find their way here. So this is not the Death Cafe, I presume.
Definitely not.
It's all about the life.
This is the life. The life and the life. Life, light, love.
This is really interesting because I came here for another event from 3 to 5 called the Death Cafe. And as I was coming through, you know, I just looked and I was like, oh, what's going on over there? But then I went in there to try to find out where this, oh, you guys are recording. I went to find out where it was, and I didn't. I just decided to come back here. And you guys are all talking about Ghana. I was at a concert, was it last Friday night, and there are a couple of people that were at that concert that I see, and I'm like, there's something, you know, there's some synchronicity or something going on here. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it short, but I have to go because I have to go to this other thing, but I wanna know what this group is because I want to come back.
Thank you for asking. There's a guest book that I'm looking for, and everyone in the circle with a pen, we want to make sure we get your name and contact number.
Okay.
It's really important, and thank you for asking. At any point in time, since it's informal mastermind, my name is Sister SAS, Sharon Ann Smith, Calligraphy by SAS. That's a brand, just call me SAS. But it's not anything that we do at any particular time, but it is led by the one divine spirit. And this mastermind specifically is because we're hosting our sister, Dr. Sharita, who's here from Ghana, who's going to be presenting to this group shortly. But before she presents, we wanted to get a sense of who makes up this circle of divinely appointed folk that just showed up here in this circle today. But we do want to take your question or comments. We welcome you. You're in the right place at the right time with the right people, or anything else that you want to say. As you see here, there's a lot about Africa in this circle, but specifically about repatriation to Ghana. That's what we're getting ready to get to. But again, say your name again.
Erica.
Erica.
With a K. And I'm gonna say this real quickly. So I had a conversation last night with a good
good?
friend who is in Elkhart, Indiana, who's actually from Ghana. Well, his mother's from Ghana, his father's from London. And we were actually, you know, kind of like in a joking way, but kind of talking. I was like, you need to take me to Ghana. Like, I literally said that yesterday.
And what else is comfortable?
Literally, so.
Divine timing.
Yeah.
There's no coincidence.
You got to come in a circle, sweetheart.
I feel like you have your mouth hanging open right now.
Yeah, and
I'm like, I'm tripping just right along with you. Yeah, that's divine spirit. Oh, sometimes,
We're
I love
gonna
it when
move
you give it to me like
We're gonna
that,
move
guys.
around the circle for those that haven't said their name. At least say your name and whatever, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna prepare to let Dr. Sharita come on, but we wanna get a sense of who's in the circle without the long introductions right now.
Right, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're in
fine.
divine order, Queen. Here's the conversation. There's no sorry.
So my name is Tassili Ma'at, and I am a member of the West End community here in Atlanta and a global citizen. I am the owner and creator of Tassili's Raw Reality. It's a cafe that heals people using food as medicine, and we promote raw vegan food. However, you don't have to be vegetarian to come and enjoy our delicious cuisine. And I said earlier, I see myself as a global citizen because the whole world is Africa to me. And although we focus on the continent, I was blessed to study African art in school when I went to Fisk University, and then later when I finished from UCSD. And I truly see our African origins throughout the world. And I feel like every place we're drawn to is a place where we have been and still are. Just tend to be disconnected or obscured. So today, I too was having a conversation with one of my dear friends who lives in Belize, and I was saying that my daughter is really bent on sending me on a vacation where I'm just relaxing and enjoying myself. And I said, I'm torn between Belize and Ghana. I said, because I want to go and visit Dr. Sharita and I want to come and visit you. I didn't know that this was happening today until later when I checked my phone. So I too have had the calling. I was blessed to go to Kemet in 2016. I went to several places in Egypt or Kemet. And that's where I had my reconnecting with the continent there. And it was very powerful, but again, I know I have to travel the whole continent. And so I'm looking forward to going. I too am gonna have to run out, but I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come back. So how long does this last?
We have they'll kick us out at 6. The library closes
Oh, I'll
at
be
6.
back before then.
Well, we said from 2 to 5, but we're not on a time base.
Okay.
We'll be out before
I have
6.
to run out, but I will be back.
Same here.
Your presence really makes a difference. Thank you. Let's acknowledge Tassili's and Tassili's right now. Thank you, my queen.
I shall be back.
Please do.
Okay.
Shalom, shalom, everybody. I greet you in the words of peace, the Hebrew word. Shalom, shalom, it means peace, and by the way, it's our language.
Shalom.
It is.
Like I said, I'm Barbara Washington Hartung, and I haven't been to sub-Saharan, that part of the continent, but I've been to the continent. And I'm just totally interested in repatriation, so I was so excited to hear about the application process that she's going to present to us today. I support everything my sister Tassili has said. I applaud you. You're a wonderful speaker. I've seen you. I've known you for years. Go way back.
Yes.
And I've seen how she's grown and developed. In her presentation, she mentioned a few words. She said consciousness, treachery, distraction. She also said imaginary fantasy. Now I'm going to keep it brief, but I want to share with you something my master teacher, Nasig Ram of the Hebrew Israelites, shared with us yesterday in class. And I thought it was so important that I should bring it up. I haven't seen the movie, but I am really excited about it, as we all are. We're very excited. I know this is just the beginning, okay? But let's look at this movie. It's imaginary. Can you go to that land that he's talking about? No. It's all fantasy. And this is what Hollywood is, fantasy. Who wrote the story? It wasn't us. Okay? Who is financing it? It wasn't us. So let's keep that in mind. And we have to be conscious and aware now when we see things, okay? Especially with our people. And you know, as she said, the treachery and the distraction, okay, that they perpetrated on us. So, Nasig mentioned this is just a distraction. Why? Because in real life, what is happening, let's look at what Trump is doing with the circuit courts, the judicial system from the bottom up. Whenever we wanted justice, the first thing we would do is go to the courts, right? Mm-hmm. But now he's stacking every level of the courts so that we have nowhere to go. But this is not the first time because it happened during Reconstruction. So we have to be conscious if this is not a distraction. We cannot be distracted by this imaginary, fantasy movie. And I hope that this movie will generate a movie based on our real history. Because our ancient history, modern day history, we have many characters and stories that are real. We have so many people who are real that they can make films on and teach us and guide us and make money. So I think we're hungry to see us in positive images, okay? So let's just keep this in mind. Let's be conscious and aware so that it doesn't really distract us. And the next movie should be based on fact. Let's go into our heroes and sheroes and write the stories that they've already written. Thank you.
May I respond to that?
Yeah, you can.
The writer,
Thank you.
Michael B.
Thank you.
Jordan, I think he's a black man.
Right.
And also, his next attempt at a movie will be Mansa Musa. And we know that's a real...
Manson, that is right.
That's to let you know that
Yeah.
that
Yes.
is the direction that they're going.
That
So I
is
just want to know,
right.
I agree with you, you know, with the fantasy part, but everything's a concept before it becomes a reality.
Absolutely.
So
We
maybe
are
this will
taught.
plant some seeds in the minds of people.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
It
That's all I
already
wanna say.
has.
Right.
It already has.
Right.
If you
It's inevitable.
have recognized the fact that we as a people have an oral history, we have a written history too, but we tell our cosmology through story.
Through stories
So
and myth.
it's easier for us to remember through quote unquote fantasy stories. It's the story of Auser and Set. It's the story that we have told ourselves in various different forms throughout time. And as the brother said, if we can't conceive it through imagination and fantasy, then it can't be so, because it already starts in the mind. And where does imagination and fantasy come from? From our meditation, from our divine connection with the Most High, who speaks to us in all ways, in all forms, if we are able to listen. It's important to me to just be able to receive truth however it comes.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And to recognize that we could get caught up with all kind of illusions. But if it's something that's going to inspire us toward the good, then I'm all for it. I don't care if it comes through a crackhead. I don't care if it comes from me stubbing my toe on a rock. The rock is teaching me the lesson to watch my step.
There you go.
Because I listen to spirit. I listen to how the Most High speaks to us. The Most High may speak to us in Hebrew. The Most High may speak to us in Sanskrit. The Most High may speak to us through rap. How are we open to listen to the words of the Most High? Because in fact, where is it that the Most High is not? And it doesn't matter what we call the Most High. And I'm not getting into that argument, but to just simply say that if the Most High is truly as omnipotent as we say the Most High is, then the Most High is truly more vast than we can even conceive of. So why wouldn't the divine intelligence that has ordered all of this speak to us in a way that we can all get it, however we need to get it, whenever we're able to receive it. And if some white folks want to take it upon themselves to deal with reparations through a movie, I'm all for it. And because of the fact that they showed so many different aspects of our culture in that movie. And I say see it several times because it's a study. It's a study. You see all these different aspects, right? And they did a lot of research. I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to be inspired, to be creative. It's a way to speak to our youth who don't want to hear none of that old stuff. I don't care how much we try to tell them. If they can't relate to it, they weren't there. They don't know about slavery like that. We could talk all day till we blue in the face. But they can't really relate to it because they have not experienced that level of racism. And on the word nigga, I mean, that just means nigga, kings, queen. I mean, we can, in the Shawnee language, nigga is grandmother. I mean, we could find the word throughout history. It doesn't have to be just how somebody gave it to us.
Teach, sister, teach.
We are everywhere. The whole world is Africa. The reggae group Black Uhuru gave us that song. If you don't know it, look it up. In the 90s. The whole world is Africa. And I embrace the wholeness of this planet as mine. Every aspect of it as mine. And if I'm truly the mother of creation, then all my children, the rejects and the most prized, are mine. And it's my responsibility to nurture them and bring them back to center. Okay, and that's all I'm saying. I think we could be so daggone critical of everything. At what point do we celebrate something that's actually good?
Well, it wasn't meant to be hypercritical. It's just let us be conscious and aware. But like you said, how we use this in the future going forward. That's what's important, and I thank you for that. I agree with everything that you said.
And there is one thing in there that I do want to say that is very concerning to me, because you're right about how they do slip stuff in.
Right.
For those who haven't seen it, and for those who have, there is an aspect in there where they're trying to say the CIA is our friend, and we know they're not.
Yeah, raise your hand if you have not seen the movie.
Okay, so all I'm saying is there is a part in there where that can be seen as being subliminal, or covert, or overt. However, but if you have eyes to see, you know, oh, well, wait a minute,
Always
But I feel
consider the
like
source.
that is the only reason why the movie was allowed to be put out to begin with.
That's what I mean.
Because it's so powerful
gotta show
to
good white
inspire
folks.
our people
Right.
to revolution on all kind of levels. They have to have something in there to calm us the F down. About to get me riled up for real.
That's why I say.
And I'm just saying, I'm
things.
just saying, we just got to be mindful across the board. But overall, it's a very powerful. I mean, I've seen it twice, and I'm gonna see it again because it's a study. It's a study, you know, in how we can take the media and utilize it to our advantage, because it's here. And we can fuss and complain about it all we want, but how can we take what's here and utilize it to our advantage? So
Thank
that's
you.
all I'm saying.
And you best believe there will be a mastermind for that
That's what's
particular.
up, right.
Look, discerning,
And thank you.
and we're not closing it down at all. We just know the wisdom, and thank you, Sister Tassili,
I'll be right back.
and everybody that's here that makes up the space. This is how our mastermind works. The consciousness is a value. All perspectives, all opinions matter. And that's why when you step into this circle, and even if you don't speak, you will hear yourself expressed in the speaking of someone else that's on mastermind accord with you, something like that. You feel me? So thank you both, sisters and brothers. I'm glad that we want to hear from the couple of people that just came in, and then we're going to go to our guest speaker, Dr. Sharita. We want everybody to sign the guest book, but please introduce yourself, Queen. You want me to hold it?
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. My name is Intazaki.
Greetings.
Greetings. Who am I? Well, I was sent here. This was not my original plan. My mom called me. She was like, "Oh, there's this event. I think you should go. It's very important, so go." So I said, "Okay." And so my mom is Sister Ifany, and Mama Tassili is actually my aunt. So I'm very honored to be here. I've never been to Africa yet. I have Africa inside of me, so
That's
sometimes
right.
I feel like I'm okay. At least I'm not asleep or unaware of the beauty and importance in Africa. I'm a child development major. I'm a teacher. I'm a preschool teacher. So I do a summer camp program in Jamaica every year for the youth. And I always, after graduating from college, I was like, I don't just want to work for people. I don't just want to be seen as a babysitter. I'm an educator. And if I can get to the babies, then I don't really have to worry about anything else and stuff. So now I work at a predominantly white school, but I feel that that is important because if I'm teaching them how to be not like their ancestors, then that's a start somewhere. Right? That's a start somewhere. I have them being respectful and mindful of what they're doing and their actions, then it's good. So there I said, okay, since I'm here, then I also must not limit. I must not be limited. So I want to branch off and go to Africa and travel. I have a vision of taking a year off and not having to worry about bills and all this stuff and traveling the whole continent, starting in one place. And I feel I can accomplish that if I handle my business and do it in a way that it can manifest. And so that's why I'm here, to see how I can manifest what I want and change that fantasy into my reality and stuff. And I don't want to talk too much about the movie, but in my opinion, we always looking at, oh, what we don't have, and oh, there's no representation of us in media and etc. And then when things that do come out that are finally positive, it ain't there was no drug, no homosexuality, no pimps, no sexual disrespecting of the women. All the women, well,
No ratchetness.
y'all haven't seen
Okay.
them.
You said we hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, right, that's why I stopped. My apologies. Yeah, so anyways, to go forward, I'm just grateful to be here and to also be able to, our camp is Mount Zion Youth Arts and Culture Camp, and our main focus is bridging the gaps between the African diaspora. So we're starting in Jamaica because my father's roots are there, and that's just a mini Africa within itself. If you really know about Jamaica and you've gone there, so yes.
You're wonderful. Let's acknowledge. Thank you. If you haven't said your name and just very briefly, we want to say that, and then we're going to introduce our speaker.
Hey, hello everyone. My
Hello.
name is Najla and it's my mom. Let's see. I've never been to Africa before, but my mother, she just went to Africa, and from the pictures I was just like, we have to go. We have to go. I am in grad school to be an educator, teaching STEM, science, technology, engineering, math for the middle grade. What I plan to do with it, I want to actually go to Africa to teach our kids. They need to be more into STEM, you know. Let's see. That's it. Yeah, I have 3 children. Y'all probably seen my children. I'm married.
Give her a hand for having 3 babies. So wonderful that you're here. I'd say this here part, when you have a mom like Susie Sana, a retail merchant for African goods in West End Mall for how many years? About 20 years. In other words, that's where we got our goods here.
It's been longer than that.
Longer than that? About 20 and a couple?
I'm 37,
Yeah,
so
what
I
you down
know
doing?
about
She don't know.
35.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's about right. There's no time in spirit, but what we see and what we know is from this circle that's yet continuing, that can't be unbroken, this mastermind by divine appointment, is that it's already done. Your mom's transformation is our community's transformation. When she showed up, everything shifted. I'm serious, right, Dr. Sharita? See, because we know the space that all of us, serious social beings. We're talking about folk that have been committed to the struggle and liberation of African people for over 50 years and plus. And so if you are Johnny come lately, it's because you're second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and we're rising together. Is that correct? Yes. So that's what's going on here. And it's so beautiful to have that. Your name, sister?
Yes, yeah.
Please, thank
real
you.
Quick, this is
Oh,
Mimi.
you're fine.
I'm Mimi, and I lived in Ghana for 3 years. And real quick, I came back, but been constantly drawn to return to Ghana. Like, no matter how much I'm like, well, this, well, that happened.
I've been holding the rope.
Yes, and I'm still being very drawn and pulled to return and stay. So I need the game plan, you know. I'm here to be inspired by people who've been there for a long time, you know, and I just know when I was there, it was not easy, but I loved it anyway. And so I know that any information that I can pull from and any experiences that I can share that I've had, it's a sharing experience. And I need to know what you're doing for it to be successful so I can also go and return, because the spirit won't stop pulling me.
That's right. That's me.
Yeah.
This is the part of the presentation, and feel free to take notes if you don't have your pen and you won't put it in your phone or whatever, because we have the experts. Let's acknowledge Mimi. Yes, my queen sister. And then we're going on around.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
Antoinette Singh. And I've longed for my African journey for as long as I can remember. So the different elements of African culture and Black history and culture are starting to come together for me on another level. And I just want to give props to Dr. Sharita. It's my honor to meet you. It's my honor. I presume this is Bomani. Yes. I presume this is one of my other Facebook friends, and I remember you from Hillside, sister.
Yes.
And so I have used Dr. Goss's products and others over the years, and to have you in Atlanta and in our presence, I'm honored. And I also hope to, and of course my sister Susie and her daughter, right? And some other familiar faces, but you know, it's time to put the foot to the pavement and put the pedal to the metal and figure out how to make this thing a reality. And so I'm just interested in finding out what different people are doing so that I can figure out how to make this transition work for me. So
wow.
Give thanks.
Give thanks. Apara, and then Stephanie.
My name's Apara. I'm A-P-A-R-A. In reference to us here, I give it meaning A-P-A-R-A, African people are rising again. And modified it to all people are rising again, because we have to be one in truth.
I should
be.
African people are rising again. Apara. Beautiful.
Yes, and I haven't been to Africa at this point, but looking at my life, the way things have been aligned in my life, I've been connected with closely with different people from different parts of Africa. So I'm trusting in divine order, and I'll be there for it. I don't want to talk of it. Talk is cheap. One thing I do want to mention, I feel worthy of talk. The word is Africa, and we are our greatest resource, and we need to rely upon one another.
Peace.
Man. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Chubu.
Greetings.
Hey, Steph.
Hey. Susie. What to say? I have been a traveler in Africa. Amazing for me even to think 4 times over a period of 45 years.
First time for 6 weeks with a group of college. No, first time was with my mother. So it's solo traveling, no tour. Second time with a group of girls from FIT the very next year for 6 weeks, no tour. Both trips deep in culture, deep in experiences. I visited the shrine, y'all. I saw Fela, you know. Someone once, and then another time in 2007 following my daughter's 8th grade trip to Ghana. And then again in May with Bomani. Someone asked which was my favorite trip. Each were absolutely superlative on their own and in their own right. The first time I went was right, I believe, after Nkrumah was unseated. So the climate, even though I knew it was home, even though I saw my ancestors, I saw my grandfather's face, I saw my uncle's faces, even though I knew it as home, I didn't feel the possibility of returning there. This trip with Bomani affected me so deeply. I've had to apologize to my family because every day I'm saying, let me tell you how Africa affected me in reference to this. Every day. It's like, oh God, Sheila. Let me tell you what the effect of being there did to me in reference to this. I could be talking food, politics, fashion, art, love, relationships, communication, technology, Afrofuturism, whatever. What this trip did for me was to make me realize that scene from Get Out, that America itself is the sunken place. Itself. You can hope, you can wish, you can dream, you can plan, you can power, you can achieve, you can succeed, but you're still in the sunken place.
Say it,
Tell that story.
And that place that you're reaching for, well, it's just, you know, it can be denied you at no matter how much you have, no matter what you have, because this place doesn't love you. It's hard there. Is it not hard here? It's challenging there. Is it not so here? You may be betrayed there. Is it not so here? But that's a place that at least has a possibility of loving you. I'm not saying we're widely accepted. I'm feeling like we have a mission there to educate who we are in returning and learn who we can be altogether. Because the goal, as the sister said, to me is the raising of all of Africa. There's a reason we've been sent forth. A reason that may go over generations, that has gone over generations. That tribulation wasn't meant just to be a tribulation. It was meant to be a triumph. What are we going to do with it? You know, we've learned something very particular here. I'm not saying we have the supreme knowledge of what they need, taking our superior knowledge there. I'm saying we have a piece of the puzzle that can be used there to dismantle the colonial mentality. So the goal is the raising of Africa altogether.
You heard it.
And you can do it. You can do it. You can do it just like you do it here. Just like you're saying, oh God, what's the next job? Oh God, when my job moves from South Carolina to Texas, what am I going to do? Oh God, when this one closes and I have to go get another job at another place. You're still working within this white supremacist situation. Trade one what? Possibility, one surety, the devil, for the possibility it could be better.
Word. Food for thought, huh? Let's acknowledge Stephanie Chubu. This was my roommate on the last journey of lifetime with Mamani. And brother, thank you for joining our Mastermind Circle by Divine Appointment. Everyone is welcome. You're right on time for the main presentation of the evening. But before we start, if you would just say your name. We have Ghana in common and an interest in Africa. And if you do too, that's great. And if you don't, that's okay too.
Well, that's perfect. My name is Baba Sada. I'm from Ghana.
Hey! Thank you.
And also, we have an event coming up called All African Descendant Festival, which will take place in October in Atlanta. Because by me coming here, I realized most of our African brothers, we are all together.
Yeah.
But those one who just came here recently, gathering like this, we don't show up. And I keep saying colonization is just as worse as slavery. So basically, the purpose of the festival to bring us together under one unit, so we can move Africa forward.
Yeah. That is so great. You are a sign. Yeah. You're a sign. Say your name again, please.
Baba Sada.
Baba Sada?
Yeah.
We'll make sure we get you to sign the guest book, and we want to hear a little bit more from you. But in the meantime, in between time, the Mastermind has connected, and we're getting ready to receive Dr. Sharita. So let's give her a hand and let her